What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so the La Media, BSPN, Fox Sports, and other clutch dominated sports outlets are talking about the Lakers defeating the Raptors 131 to 125. LeBron Ramon James, in this performance, had 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists. Anthony Davis, who has been the best player in the NBA, scored 38 points on 14 of 20 shooting, 10 of 11 at the line, 11 rebounds, and 2 assists. Austin Reeves, who I believe exited the game with an injury, had 20 points on 14 free throws. D'Angelo Russell had 19 points, including 7 of 13 from the floor. The Lakers shot 41 free throws in this game, 41 to the Raptors, I believe, 13. So that's a 28 differential in free throws, virtually a 30 free throw advantage that the Lakers had against the Raptors, despite shooting almost 30 more free throws, despite the fact that the ICU Raptors had multiple players out. Bruce Brown, you may recall Bruce Brown winning a championship with the Nuggets a couple of years ago. He was out with a knee injury. Kelly Olynyk was out with a back injury. Scotty Barnes is out with an eye injury. Emmanuel Quickly, who was questionable with a pelvis injury, didn't play. And Jacoby Walter, who was questionable with a shoulder injury, did play, scored 5 points. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 guys were out for the Raptors. So despite them being depleted, despite the free throw advantage, despite the fact the Raptors have not been a really good franchise at all this year, this is going to be like one of them bad years, a down year for the Raptors. The Lakers barely beat them. Barely beat them. That's been a trend, though. That's been this weird trend over the past couple of years for the Fakers. The Los Angeles Fakers, since like 2021, since the bubble, have had an unbelievable, ridiculously obvious rig job when it comes to free throws. Since 2021, I think it was, 2021-22, going into last year, the Lakers over that span shot over 1,000 more free throws than their nearest opponent. And the trend continues this year, so it's probably trending toward 2,000 more free throws. So that's pretty much, when you look at it, an extra 5, maybe even 6 points the Lakers are getting when you look at the fact they shoot over 70% from the line. When you break it down per game, that's an average of about 5 to 6 more points the Lakers are getting every game just from free throws. People keep talking about, oh, they're a physical team, they're good at getting fouled. No, they get calls, goddammit. They're not the most physical team in the NBA. LeBron James drives the basket. So that's a justification to give him calls since he drives the basket. Giannis drives the basket a lot too. But a lot of times he don't get calls. He don't get the same fucking calls that LeBron James does. And LeBron Ramon James is 40 years old. There are other teams that take it to the hole to drive more per game than the Lakers, and somehow they don't get these superstar calls. It's all a scam. It's all a goddamn scam. I believe they're going to really do this to excess this year because they want JJ Redneck to look successful. They want him to look successful. But you know what would be really sweet this year, man? What would be really sweet is if the Cavaliers win a championship without RoboFlop. Oh, man, without RoboFlop's meddling presence in the franchise, it would be so sweet to see the Cleveland Cavaliers rebuild, and win a championship in his absence. Because that's another thing. When LeBron leaves, franchises they just totally get destroyed. They totally fall apart. When Jordan left, the Bulls still won 55 games. Well, do you really want a player whose presence in a franchise is so chaotic? He creates such mayhem and confusion and disharmony that when he leaves, it's a complete dumpster fire? Or do you want that winning pedigree of a player who creates a winning atmosphere, changes the culture, unselfish, and so therefore, even when he leaves, the culture is established that they'll still have continued success, at least for the short term, which is what we saw for the Chicago Bulls. And also, what people keep forgetting is when Michael Jeffrey Jordan retired in October 1993, the 93-94 team was a lot different from the 92-93 team. They were a lot younger. John Paxson retired. Bill Cartwright was kind of pretty much moved out of the rotation as far as the starting players concerned. All those old guys. Trent Tucker was gone. What's his name? Played with the Rockets. I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He was gone. All these dudes. JoJo English, I think, was gone. And in came part of the nucleus of the mid to late dynasty teams. Steve Kerr, Luke Longley, I think Bill Winnington. The year after that, Ron Harper. Also, Horace Grant and B.J. Armstrong had career years. Both were all-stars for the first and only time in their careers that year. And Scottie Pippen was playing his absolute best basketball between 1992, or really 1991 and 1995. So he's peaking at the right time. The Miami Heat, since this guy left, this guy with severe male pattern baldness, which looks a lot like Gerald Ford. Look at a picture of Gerald Ford from 1975, and that's how LeBron Ramon James' hairline looked 10 years ago. His hair looked like that 10 years ago. So imagine what his real hairline looks like. He probably looks like World B. Free by now, if he grew a fro. But maybe worse than that. But anyway, Miami Heat went to two finals. Two finals. And look at Cleveland doing right now. They look pretty good. So, honestly, it seems like when he leaves, there's chaos and destruction. Much like an F5 tornado. Just complete devastation. Because he's a chaotic individual. But once the rebuilding begins after the storm, there's a rebutting of confidence and positivity. The franchise goes in the right direction. They don't have some dictator meddling in the affairs of the front office, and they're able to make smart acquisitions and not just try to build some Avenger squad. But budding young talent is cultivated, and they go on to do what Cleveland's doing or what Miami did, But anyway, that's all I got to say about that one. Tell me what you guys think.